Hello everyone. I want to talk to you about wealth inequality and personal fiscal responsibility. Isn't that weird? These are topics that are dear to me. I spent 18 years homeless, and I was traveling, so it started by choice, and there were a lot of times when it carried on by choice, but there were times when that choice was removed from me. I was not capable of extracting myself from the lifestyle. Even when I wanted to. So that's why I often refer to it in terms of homelessness, even though a lot of travelers don't necessarily identify as the homeless population because they are there by choice. The symptoms overlap because, like, we are treated as though we're homeless and we don't have an address, so a lot of places give us the same stigma. But okay, I have hitchhiked most of my adult life. I've traveled, and towards the end, it was like, if I didn't make enough money to take care of myself, and I mean a meager sum, I only need what I need to get by and to survive. I'm not asking for much. I'm not trying to pay rent or whatever. My mom paid my phone bill. It was on a family plan that we kind of got grandfathered in, old plan, like, we had a great service. So I was lucky enough to have a phone. A lot of people didn't, but a lot of people do fly signs and try to panhandle in order to meet their lifestyle needs above and beyond their well-being, and that's really wrong. But there were weeks that went by when it felt as though my needs aren't being met because I am not a viable contribution to society. I am not worthy of food security or housing or a kind word. And I knew those things weren't true because I had so many friends and I met so many amazing people and I got helped by so many amazing people, but at the same time, that's the message that we inadvertently send people who are in need, desperate need. We are sending the message that, sorry, if you can't fix it, it must mean you don't deserve it to get fixed. And that's not true. A lot of people are out there waiting for somebody to give them a chance. Now, I personally had to wait for the internet to fill the gaps that bureaucracy left me to live in. I didn't have ID, and it was really hard to replace that. So I had to wait until, they could verify my identity for a prepaid card online, and then that prepaid card could start an online store, and then I managed to hire myself. But a lot of people don't necessarily have a skill that they can market in that way. Maybe they need tools in order to do what their trade is or whatever. And they're really just waiting for somebody to give them the chance to see that they are worth it and lift them back up into the place that they know they belong. And they really do belong there. And the biggest problem is that the people who have amassed and are hoarding the most wealth in our nation and globe they're not coming off it. They are not mature or responsible enough parties to wield a tool with such power if they're not willing to lift a finger to wield such power. Now, I personally still am not making a lot of money. I'm making enough to make it to where I'm not a financial drain on my mother's household, and I can kind of help here and there with random household stuff, and that's amazing. That's all I really need to live here. I don't have to pay bills at this time. I have to pay my Etsy bill and my NetSpend bill, but that's it. So, I'm very fortunate, but every now and then I'll have $5 and somebody on my timeline on Facebook or whatever will be in need, and I'll gladly send it. And it's because I know that even though it's only $5 and that's only enough to vaguely ease the financial suffering of whoever I'm seeing that needs help, it also sends the message that someone cares, someone loves you, and your problems are, you are more than worthy of not suffering anymore. Like, I really want them to know that. And it doesn't really matter why. There have been a few causes that I donated towards, and there have been a lot of people that just needed help that I knew were genuine enough to know that they weren't trying to scam me or anything. They weren't trying to get more than they needed. They just needed. And all I wanted to do was save them from that suffering. And I feel like wealth inequality does this to our society. It is doling out compassion to those at the bottom rungs who don't have enough power to act on that compassion very often. And the people with the most power to ease our suffering Albeit some people who are wealthy are philanthropists, and they're very focused on finding worthy ways to redistribute their wealth. But let's face it, if all of them were doing that, we wouldn't be in the situation we're in. We wouldn't all be making minimum wage while the boss man brings home thousands and thousands of dollars when the only product he has to sell is our labor. Like, that's just, it's not okay to profiteer off of the working man's labor and be like, oh, well, I own tools and I have the money for this and I know how to do this, so this is my labor. Well, yeah, but your labor is only a portion of it. Why aren't you paying the other people for their labor? Like, why do we live in a world, and I realize that not everybody is like me. A lot of people will kill themselves with whatever wealth they're given. They'll waste it, they'll be irresponsible with it, but they're still redistributing it. So they're promoting people who work in certain industries when they waste their wealth. So who cares? Like, let them waste the money. However, it's gotten to the point where more and more luxury caterers and retailers are getting all of the money, and then the companies that own those subsidiaries are, the CEO is banking and everyone else is broke. And I don't get it. And I'm really hoping that the next generation is going to make some big changes, because it's already got to the point where, like, there are a lot of ethical issues that the younger generations are really focused on. And I mean, that's nothing new. You had protesters in the 60s, and now those protesters are saying that today's protesters are just whining and they're not doing anything about it. And it's like, but when you were that age, all you did was protest. You're a hypocrite. Sorry. Not sorry. But anyway, I love most of you. Anybody who's not hoarding their wealth in spite of their fellow man's suffering, I'm a little miffed at. I still love you, but I'm miffed. I'm seriously miffed. When I make it to the top, I'm not going to forget where I came from. There's no way I can forget where I came from. I came from there. But if the rich people think that I'm going to be part of their super secret club that hoards wealth, they're wrong. I'm still on the side of the poorest person in the world, and I want to ease their suffering. I want places with problems with starving to not be starving. And really, like, apparently there have been initiatives to help some of the starving areas in the world by giving them farming equipment and whatnot, and then it was taken by warlords, and now there are brainwashed people who are blaming them for being too lazy to try and too lazy to implement what they were given. No, it was taken by warlords. Governments are killing the world. And that's why, like, I don't think that I should have to pay taxes. I shouldn't have to have the threat of paying taxes in order to feel it worthwhile to redistribute what I can. And I think the only reason taxation exists is because no one tithes to their fellow man anymore. No one tithes to their community. They don't, well, not no one. There are a lot of people, philanthropists, like I mentioned before, but there aren't enough of them. And what the world needs now is more compassion. We don't need judgment. We don't need to gatekeep who is worthy of supplies. We don't need to question who deserves to be here. Because if I deserve to be here, it's because I opened my arms to other people. If I deserve to be where I am and comfortable, it would be because I allowed that for others rather than took it from others or restricted it from others. It would be because what goes around comes around, and I've created this, and therefore I get to benefit from its creation. And I'm so thankful for this past year with the store and Gilded Matilda's. Like, this is just amazing. I have my art in a gallery. Well, not right now because it all sold out and she asked me for more and I have to get to work. And I've gotten some done, but nowhere near as much as I had because that was 3 months worth of work. But that's okay. We'll get better at it. We'll get better. And I'm going to keep moving up. And I thank every one of you for the privilege to be able to redistribute wealth as I see fit and to ease suffering, because I wouldn't be able to do that if it weren't for every single one of you. I'm so grateful for the opportunities that I've given myself and the opportunities that others have given me by taking a chance on me. And I'm just blown away by the response to my blog and to my posts. It's kind of surreal. I'm getting there. It's working. This is working, guys. I've been working. I have been working my butt off, and now I'm starting to see more and more benefits from it. And those benefits are not just for me, they're for all of us. And I can't wait to share with you exactly what you've shared with me. I love you guys. Have a great day.